King David, a man after God's own heart, was nearing the end of his days. His body, weary from battles and the weight of leadership, prepared for its final rest. Yet his spirit remained strong, his mind sharp with wisdom gained through a lifetime of victories and failures. He knew his time to lead Israel was ending, and soon his son Solomon would take the throne. Summoning Solomon to his side, David shared his final words, words heavy with love, responsibility, and the weight of a kingdom's future. David's final charge to Solomon was simple yet profound. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you. He emphasized the importance of obedience to God's laws, reminding Solomon that the key to a successful reign lay in following God's path. He stressed that true strength and courage come not from military might, but from a heart submitted to God's will. David's voice, though weak, resonated with the gravity of his words. He knew the challenges Solomon would face, the temptations that would lure him, and the enemies that would rise against him. He wanted to equip his son with the most powerful weapon he possessed, unwavering faith in God. He urged Solomon to find his strength in the Lord, to seek his guidance in every decision, and to rule with justice and righteousness. David's final words weren't just for Solomon, they were a timeless message echoing through generations, a reminder that true leadership finds its foundation in obedience and trust in God. They were the whispers of a father's heart, passing on a legacy of faith and courage to his son, the future king of Israel. Beyond general principles, David also gave Solomon specific instructions regarding individuals who posed potential threats to his rule or who deserved special consideration. He spoke of Joab, the commander of his army, a man of great military prowess, but also of unchecked ambition and ruthlessness. David instructed Solomon to deal with Joab, not with haste, but with wisdom, ensuring that justice was served for the blood Joab had shed without proper cause. Then David spoke of Barzillai the Gileadite, a loyal friend who had supported David during Absalom's rebellion. He urged Solomon to show kindness to Barzillai's sons, welcoming them to his table in gratitude for their father's unwavering loyalty. This act of kindness exemplified the importance of remembering and rewarding faithfulness, even across generations. Finally, David addressed the matter of Shimei, the Benjaminite who had cursed David during his flight from Absalom. David, in his wisdom and mercy, had pardoned Shimei. However, he warned Solomon about Shimei's treacherous nature, urging him to be watchful and act wisely, keeping in mind both justice and mercy. David's death cast a long shadow over Israel. While the people mourned their beloved king, a storm was brewing. Adonijah, one of David's older sons, saw an opportunity to seize the throne. Ignoring David's clear declaration that Solomon would succeed him, Adonijah rallied supporters, including Joab, the army commander, and Abiathar, a powerful priest. Adonijah's plan was audacious. He held a lavish feast, inviting influential figures, hoping to garner their support and proclaim himself king. He believed that by acting swiftly and decisively, he could secure the throne before Solomon could consolidate his power. He underestimated the loyalty of David's closest advisors and the swiftness of Solomon's response. News of Adonijah's actions reached Solomon, who was now king. Summoning Nathan, the prophet, and Zadok, a faithful priest, Solomon devised a plan to counter this direct challenge to his rightful place as king. He acted decisively, sending messengers to Gihon, where Zadok, the priest, was to anoint him king, publicly solidifying his claim to the throne. The sound of trumpets pierced the air as Solomon was anointed king at Gihon. The proclamation echoed through the city of Jerusalem, reaching the ears of Adonijah and his guests, who were still celebrating their supposed victory. The news struck them like a thunderbolt, their joy turning to fear and confusion. Adonijah's rebellion had been thwarted before it truly began. Fearful of Solomon's wrath, Adonijah fled to the tabernacle, desperately seeking sanctuary by clinging to the horns of the altar. Solomon, demonstrating both wisdom and mercy, offered Adonijah a pardon, but warned him that any further treachery would be met with swift and decisive justice. This act showcased Solomon's willingness to forgive, but also his unwavering resolve to protect his throne and maintain order in the kingdom. Solomon turned his attention to Abiathar, the priest who had sided with Adonijah. Abiathar's betrayal cut deep, as he had been a close confidant of David. However, Solomon recognized the danger of having such a powerful religious figure oppose his rule. He stripped Abiathar of his priestly duties and banished him to Anathoth, his ancestral home. While Solomon's judgment may seem harsh, it was rooted in a desire to prevent future uprisings and maintain stability within the kingdom. He understood the influence Abiathar wielded and knew that allowing him to remain in Jerusalem could sow discord and undermine his authority. Section 6. Dealing with Joab's treachery. Joab, the cunning and ruthless commander of David's army, posed a significant threat to Solomon's rule. Joab had been a loyal servant to David, but his loyalty was fiercely independent, often putting him at odds with David's wishes. He had aligned himself with Adonijah's rebellion, further solidifying Solomon's belief that Joab's ambition could not be left unchecked. Following his father's instructions, Solomon confronted Joab. He reminded Joab of his past deeds, specifically the murders of Abner and Amasa, which were done out of self-preservation rather than for the good of the kingdom. Solomon recognized Joab's military prowess, but also understood that his thirst for power and disregard for justice made him a dangerous element within his court. Joab, sensing the danger, sought refuge in the tabernacle, clinging to the horns of the altar, much like Adonijah had done. However, Solomon, bound by his father's charge and his duty to render justice, ordered Joab's execution. Joab's death sent a clear message that disloyalty and disregard for justice, even from those in high positions, would not be tolerated. Section 7. Shimei's punishment and forgiveness. Shimei, the Benjaminite who had cursed David, remained a concern for Solomon. While David had pardoned Shimei, he warned Solomon to be wary of him. Solomon, honoring his father's wisdom, summoned Shimei and placed restrictions on his movement, confining him to Jerusalem. He warned Shimei that leaving the city would be considered an act of treason, punishable by death. For a time, Shimei obeyed Solomon's command. However, he soon grew restless. When 2 of his slaves escaped, Shimei disregarded Solomon's order and left Jerusalem to retrieve them. This act of defiance, a direct violation of the king's command, sealed his fate. Solomon, demonstrating his commitment to justice and upholding his word, ordered Shimei's execution. Shimei's story serves as a stark reminder that forgiveness, while freely given, does not negate the consequences of one's actions. Section 8. A king secured, Solomon's wise rule. With potential threats to his throne neutralized, Solomon's reign began in earnest. He consolidated his power, establishing a firm grip on the kingdom. He reorganized the army, appointed loyal officials, and strengthened alliances with neighboring nations. His wisdom and discernment, evident in his handling of the challenges posed by Adonijah, Abiathar, Joab, and Shimei, solidified his authority and earned him the respect of his people. Solomon's reign marked a time of peace and prosperity for Israel. He expanded the kingdom's borders, established trade routes, and oversaw ambitious building projects, including the construction of the magnificent temple in Jerusalem, a testament to his devotion to God and a lasting symbol of his reign. Section 9. Fulfilling a father's dying wish. Solomon's actions, though decisive and at times severe, were ultimately guided by the principles instilled in him by his father, David. He balanced justice with mercy, demonstrating his willingness to forgive those who repented while holding those who threatened the stability of the kingdom accountable for their actions. By heeding his father's final instructions, Solomon not only secured his own rule, but also fulfilled David's dying wish to see the throne of Israel remain strong and the kingdom prosper under the guidance of a wise and just ruler. Solomon's reign became a testament to the enduring power of a father's love and the importance of obedience to God's law.